Hi YouTube, thanks for watching. Today I'm going to be reading to you a story that I wrote down. I'm pretty diligent in writing things down. I suppose when I pass this form you guys are going to find all my little scribbles. But I wrote down a story from the Hopi. As many of you know, I'm going to be channeling them tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I'll link it below. They're going to be talking about ancient technologies and stories. Some of it includes like fascinating things like how to even grow plants quickly, how to cause rain when things are in drought, technologies for emotional cleansing, technologies for grounding yourself, so many different very basic things that we forget about. And they do it in stories. It's like sitting around a beautiful campfire and when they talk to me, I can hear the crackling of the fire and I can feel the winds on my face. And well, last night when I was astral traveling with them, the sands got in my eyes a little, and they use that even as a technology to cleanse away like things that hurt me when I see it about the world, because I'm a very sensitive little empath at times. So I have this story from them about vision questing that I wanted to share with you. I'm just going to read it exactly as how they told me and exactly as I wrote it down. All people know that when human power falls, they must look to a power within, a higher power, as some of you call it, for the fulfillment of desires. There are many ways in which the requests for divine help from this higher power can be made, but it is necessary. This depends upon the person. Some like to be quiet, some really like to be seen in public. Some like to go alone, away from the crowd, to meditate upon many things. In order to secure a fulfillment of his desire, man must qualify himself to make his requests to spirit. Lack of preparation would mean failure to secure a response of his petition. Therefore, when a man makes up his mind to ask a favor of Wakantanka, that's God, Wakantanka, he makes due preparation. It's not fitting that a man should suddenly go out and make a request of Wakantanka. When a man shuts his eyes, he sees a great deal. He then enters his own mind, and things become clear to him. But objects passing before his eyes would distract him. For that reason, a dreamer makes known his request through what he sees while his eyes are closed. It has long been his intention to make his request of Wakantanka, and he resolves to seek seclusion on top of a mountain or some other high place. When at last he goes there and closes his eyes in meditation, and his mind is upon Wakantanka and his work, the man who does this usually has in mind some animal which he would like for protection and help. It's a spirit animal. No man can succeed in life alone, and he cannot get the help he wants from men. Therefore, he seeks help through some bird or animal which Wakantanka sends for his assistance. Many animals have ways from which a man can learn a great deal. Even from the fact that horses are restless before a storm, we can learn from that. When non-Indians first began to learn about this ritual, they explained away the experiences by noting that going without food or water for several days can lead to hallucinations. Fasting, we're going to be talking about that in the channeling tomorrow, how to do it right. This belief came from well-fed scholars observing equally well-fed civilized people who were not accustomed to hardships. Indian peoples, on the other hand, had been trained from their earliest youth to withstand all the rigors of nature, and consequently could easily go without food and water for long periods of time. A mere 4 days would not affect a well-raised Indian being. There are accounts of non-Indians, scouts, and mountain men who went days without food and water and had no hallucinations, but no visions either. The explanation of delusion cannot hold, because in some instances people received messages on the first or second day of their ritual before any physical deprivation of their body, such as lack of food, could become a serious threat to their ability to perceive the environment around them. Moreover, people who do extensive fasting will affirm that they actually feel stronger and can think with great clarity when engaging in their practice. Indians recognized that this state of weakness and vulnerability could lead to hallucinations, and so made efforts to distinguish between visions and accurate information obtained in the ritual from fantasy. Notice Notice they made a distinction there, guys. After people had finished a vision quest, they participated in a sweat lodge, during or after which the elder who supervised them would discuss their experiences. The real criterion that defined the valid experience of the spirits from simple hallucinations was the requirement that any powers or insights received by a person in a vision or dream had to be demonstrated before the whole community sometime in the future. Let others think that this experience is an exciting extension of our lest someone think this experience is an exciting extension of our daily activities or that it is performed in a perfunctory manner. Let us now talk to you about what Lame Deer said about his experiences. Here comes the story. This is the story of Lame Deer, who was a Sioux medicine man. This is what I wrote down for you. For those of you who are just entering this, at minute 6, we're going to share the story now about Lame Deer's vision quest, explaining what the vision quest is, okay? And these are just stories that they've been sharing with me for weeks now that I've written down in a journal. He says, imagine a darkness so intense and so complete that it's almost solid, flowing around you like ink, covering you like a velvet blanket, a blackness which cuts you off from the everyday world, which forces you to withdraw deep into yourself, which makes you see with your heart instead of your eyes. You can't, but your eyes are opened. You are isolated, but you know you are part of Great Spirit, united with all living things. I shook the rattle, and it made a soothing sound, like rain falling upon rock. It was talking to me, but it did not calm my fears. I took sacred pipe in my other hand and began to sing and pray, Tonka Shila, grandfather spirit, help me. I don't know what got into me, but I was no longer myself. I started to cry. Crying, even my voice was different. I sounded like an older man. I couldn't even recognize this strange voice. I used long ago words in my prayer, words no longer used nowadays. So that's the story of the Sioux medicine man's explanation of what a vision quest is like. We're going to go deeper into what vision quest is like. I've been writing down all these stories into my journal of experiences with the Hopi, and we're going to be talking about the technologies in a sacred way, and just sharing more stories about what it's like for the Hopi to have vision quest, what it's like for them to fast properly, what it's like for them to use certain technologies of water, of fire and smoke, technologies that are ancient that we've forgotten that we can apply to our modern lives. So for those of you joining that, I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I'll link it below. Thanks for listening to the story that this Sioux medicine man shared with me. And I love it. Like I said, I have this big journal now. I think I have about 25 pages of stories from the Hopi that I would love to share with you one day. If you want more of these stories, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, because if you subscribe and turn your notifications on, I do this every day, sometimes every other couple days, and you'll get more sacred knowledge from what all the beings who come through me to channel want to say to you. So see you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye.